Hello, and welcome to the WWIA Podcast. We're honored to have you join us in our mission to bring honor, connection, and healing to America's combat wounded Purple Heart heroes. If this is your first time listening to this podcast, we welcome you. If you're a returning listener, thanks for coming back. Please be sure to tell others about our podcast and leave us a review if you're enjoying what you're hearing. We have another exceptional guest on this episode of the WWIA Podcast. WWIA Founder and CEO John McDaniel is honored to share some time and a wonderful conversation with one of America's tremendous Purple Heart heroes, Mr. Greg Brazinski. Greg recently retired from the United States Army after proudly serving for 20 years as a combat engineer. Greg is married, has 3 children, and holds a Bachelor of Science in Organizational Leadership from the University of Charleston. In his off time, he loves spending time with his family, enjoys woodworking, and is an avid hunter and outdoorsman. He also serves as a guide for WWIA on various events across North America, assisting his fellow Purple Heart brothers and sisters. This is a great episode that we know you're going to enjoy, so let's jump into the conversation with John and Greg right now.
Hi, I'm John McDaniel, founder and CEO of the Wounded Warriors in Action Foundation, and this is our podcast, Honor, Connect, Heal. You know, today I have with us one of our combat wounded heroes, Purple Heart recipient, Greg Brazinski. And Greg and I have known each other for a couple years now. He's been working with the foundation and our heroes as a guide. Welcome to the program, Greg.
Thanks, John. I appreciate it. I'm glad to be here. It's an honor.
Yeah. Well, you and I, as soon as I met you, I was like, I like this guy. I don't, just you struck me as somebody who just your whole, demeanor and presence is something that, immediately put me at ease and comfortable. And, that's great. I think, anytime you meet somebody and you get that sense from them, you got a winner. And I'm not the guy picking you guys anymore, the guides that run these events. You're really selected by your peers. So by the time I get to meet you, you've already kind of been through the ringer a little bit and had some other folks look at you and say, yeah, this is somebody we want on the team. So congratulations for, making it through all of that gauntlet. And because you've actually been to our safety symposium. You're scheduled to go to our guide school this summer. So I'll see you up at Camp Hackett. But if you don't mind, just tell us, briefly a little bit about yourself. You have a family. Tell us about your job with the Department of Natural Resources. Kind of give us the thumbnail sketch of who you are and what you got going on in your world.
Greg Brazinsky, 20 years of service. Just recently retired from the military. March 24th was my official retirement date. Started working for the Department of Natural Resources here in Indiana. Working on some roads throughout all their properties. I have a wife, 3 kids, 15, 5, and 3. All of them are outdoor enthusiasts, to include my wife.
Awesome.
I got my oldest daughter, who's 15 now, into archery when she was 6. So she's been shooting competitions ever since about 10, maybe. So she's heavy into archery. My son's into archery now. My daughter is now picking up little toy bows, trying to shoot those. So my whole family is just all outdoorsy, and they love doing it.
Awesome. Well, you achieved the rank of Sergeant First Class, or for those that don't know, that's a high-ranking individual in the enlisted ranks. Sergeant First Class is a rank that isn't achieved without a lot of effort and a lot of talent. And so, congratulations! Oh, by the way, on your retirement. But you have a Purple Heart. You are a combat wounded veteran. You were a combat engineer. Is that in the United States Army, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so. And now you're working kind of similar job, maybe because nobody's shooting at you and blowing you up, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And Yeah, you've got a great family going, and that's wonderful. So let's talk about being a combat engineer, and let's fast forward the tape to the point where you're on a combat. Yeah, I looked at your resume, and how many combat tours did you serve?
4 combat tours.
Yeah, okay, 4. And on one of those tours, you were wounded. If you don't mind, give us share with us if you're willing to do so, Greg, some of the details surrounding when you earned your Purple Heart, please.
Yes, sir. It was August 10th, 2008. We were doing route clearance. We were based out of Balad, but that day we just so happened to be out of Warhorse. So we were doing a route clearance patrol down a black route. Multiple vehicles. I was the 3rd vehicle in the convoy in an RG-31 with mine rollers. I had a D9 dozer in the front, or D7 dozer in the front, and then a Husky.
That's a huge piece of equipment, right?
Oh yeah,
and the D7 dozer. Yeah. Was it leading the way or just in front of you at doing a route clearance, or what are you guys doing?
The D7 was the very first vehicle. It was scraping up the surface because we were going down a black route.
What does that mean, a black route? What does that mean?
So a black route is a route that hasn't been cleared or traveled on by any U.S. service member or NATO ally. The time frame differs. It could be a couple days, could be as soon as we pass by it, and it's known to be reseeded with IEDs. They turn it black again. Like the road has to be overwatched or some type of outpost on it in order for it to not ever go black again. But as soon as there's no eyes on it, it turns black. And then route clearance. Because bad
guys are in the middle of the night or whenever they get the chance are planting IEDs, which are improved explosive devices that they detonate from afar when vehicles or whenever anybody's in their ambush site that they want to detonate this this weapon system on, right? Something like that.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So go on, buddy.
We got the D7 dozer in the front, scraping the surface, trying to pull up any mines with their rakes behind them, dragging, trying to pick up any command wire or any type of wire that they can pick up with their rakes in the back. Then the Husky, which is the Husky at the time, we only had the mine detection Husky, so it only had we call them the wings on the sides that are doing the same thing as our mine detectors, our handheld mine detectors do. And then behind the Husky was towing what we called mine det trailers, which was meant to set off any type of IED within the roadway. So they're very heavy pieces of equipment being towed behind the Husky. And then I was in the 3rd vehicle with the RG-31 with mine det rollers on the front. So the rollers in the front are meant to push down on the surface and set off the IEDs, whether it be mostly pressure plated or pressure release. So what we come up with on this one is the D7, the road hasn't been traveled in so long, so the route wasn't really compacted anymore. The D7 scraped the surface. The Husky compacted the surface. My mine rollers compacted it even more. And then our front tire rolled over it, and it was a pressure release. And since everything was compacted down, it now had the compaction it needed to go off. And as the front tire of my vehicle came off of this, it hit directly between the TC and me in the back seat because I was supposed to be in the gunner's hatch. And I just so happened to come out of the gunner's hatch to come sit inside the vehicle when it detonated between me and the TC. So everybody that was in the vehicle was all, being safe and had their seatbelts on. And since I was just coming out of the hatch and trying to get into a seat, I didn't have my seatbelt on. So I kind of got tossed around the vehicle and knocked unconscious right as it blew up on us. So it injured my neck, my shoulder, my rib cage, and my lower back. and ended up with a spinal fusion in my lower back right away. Recently, because of that, and then wear and tear on the body after that blast, I ended up with a cervical fusion in my neck. I've had 2 shoulder surgeries, and I have a dorsal column stimulator now to take care of the nerve pain in my legs.
Well, God bless you, man. I gotta say, I'm gonna go there for a second, man. I gotta tell you, I cannot imagine, what it was like. I've talked to a lot of combat engineers, because you guys, what you guys do, is nothing short of phenomenal, especially given what's going on or what went on, in Iraq, Afghanistan, in terms of IEDs. When I was, jumping out of planes and beating up trees, we didn't have, towards the end of my career, sure, you got hurt in 2008. I retired in 2007, and so when I first learned of, IEDs and what they were doing, the bad guys were doing vis-a-vis, improved explosive devices, I was like, the first thought was, that's some chicken shit right there. That's that to me, pardon my French, but sitting in a building or in a cafe and observing a road and pushing a button, when somebody drives their track over it, or it's command detonated, or it's pressure plate detonated, whatever the method is, but hey, that's warfare, right? That's not, we don't spend a lot of time there, but this idea of being a combat engineer and getting in a vehicle or a line of vehicles to go find mines and detonate them, like that's what you woke up doing that day. You're like, yeah, all right, we got to go clear this route today, and I know I'm going to get blown up. I had a guy, one of our heroes, one of the first guys we served, and this would have been back in 2008, I want to say, 07, 08 timeframe. He was a combat engineer. I won't mention his name, because he's no longer with us. God bless him. But he said to me, I was asking him about that, just fascinated by. I'm trying to picture myself, getting myself mentally ready to get in a vehicle and go drive over mines to detonate them, or clear a route knowing that there's mines there that are going to blow up, right?
Yeah.
That's just that's like Russian roulette, man. That's like click, 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 and then it's just a matter of time. And I asked him, I said, hey man, how many times have you been blown up? He goes, 23, sir. I go, 23. You've been blown up 23 times. Yes, sir. Okay. Now, that was probably your first direct hit, or I don't know. How many times have you been hit?
Do you want direct hits, or do you want just
you tell me whatever you want, man. Oh, you just round ball. That's just round ballpark figures.
I've been hit over 20 times. Direct hits.
That's crazy, man.
Direct hits on my vehicle. Couple. But in and around me was over 20.
Yeah, it was that was your job. Now for everybody's listening, just imagine waking up tomorrow morning or sometime this afternoon and somebody's telling you, all right, get in this vehicle, we're going to go find mines and blow them up in our vehicle. That's just that what would be going on inside of your head. I can't imagine. God bless you for it.
Well,
that's just not an easy way to go.
No, it's not an easy way. And my wife always asks me, did I choose the job that's just going to, instant lights out as soon as it happens?
Right.
Like she asked, did I choose the most dangerous job, just for what reason? And it was, like everybody says, the recruiter got me.
Wow, man, I got to tell you. So what was this thing? It's obviously most people say, well, it was a bomb. Yeah, Roger, it was a bomb. Yep. But what is it? Was it a 155, or did they ever determine what it was?
Yeah, they determined it. They quit actually calculating what they were finding, because they were finding different types of munitions in there. Mm-hmm. The overall that they told us was 3 155 rounds and an AT mine, and they estimated
wow.
They estimated it to be over 300 pounds.
The total weight of the munitions plural.
Correct.
Three 105 or 155 rounds.
3 155s.
Okay, so here's the thing. All right, now we can get into all kinds of detail here, but at the end of the day, for those that don't know, a 155 round's a howitzer round. Okay, and they were readily available to the bad guys because of Soviet stockpiles and et cetera, et cetera. So they figured out how to use these rounds, munitions that were designed to go inside of a howitzer, and then somebody pull the lanyard on a howitzer and have these things shoot these artillery shells miles away in indirect fire systems, right? You've seen them probably on TV and whatnot, but these 155 rounds, there was 3 of those, plus you said a sort of a pressure plate mine or something like that was probably used as the detonator.
The anti-tank mine, yes.
The anti-tank mine, yeah. So an anti-tank mine with 3 155 howitzer rounds.
Correct.
That's what blew up your vehicle.
Correct, and that's what they identified, and they quit identifying the rounds because there was just so much of it. The blast site was as wide as the RG and from wheelbase to wheelbase. And
what's the RG for people that don't know? What's an RG?
It's a long route clearance vehicle that has a V-shaped hull. It's meant to take the blast.
Mm-hmm.
The exact length on it, I'm not exactly sure, but I would say probably is as long, if not longer, than a long bed mega cab pickup truck. And it's a little bit longer than that and wider than that. So the hole, to put it in perspective, was approximately 4 to 5 feet deep almost, and about the same for the width, probably about 6 feet wide, and about 4 to 5 feet in length. So it was massive.
Yeah. So at the time you get hurt, what's your rank? Are you a staff sergeant first class? Where were you at in your career?
I was still a specialist at the point.
Oh my gosh. So you get blown up as a specialist, get a Purple Heart, and then go on to continue to serve from specialist to sergeant to E6 to E7 and ultimately retire after 20 years of active federal service after having been blown up in 2008, and you just retired. So you did that whole run as a combat wounded veteran with all these injuries and complications to your injuries. It's just a miracle. I mean, it just a miracle that you were able to do that, right? It's crazy.
It is a miracle, and it's partially hard-headedness on my part, because my wife tells me all the time that I should have retired a long time ago.
Yeah, I love it. I would say, I'm hard to kill, man. And so are guys like you. I just love it. Just hard to kill, like a cockroach. You just keep coming at you, man.
Yeah, pretty much.
I love it. No, that's testament to your character, to your moral fiber. And, you ain't got any quit in you.
No.
I love that, man. I just love that about you, and all the rest of you, that are out there, that are on our team. I mean, that's just, I just have so much respect and admiration for you. It's hard for me to put into words, man. And now you're helping, you're on our team. Okay. You've been selected as a guide. You've been to our safety symposium. You've been on 6 missions leading heroes. You haven't been to our guide school yet. We you are a special person. We put you in the safety symposium, which is designed, we do that every other year, and then on the other years, we do our guide school. So we run 5, 6, 7, sometimes more, select individuals through our guide school so that you can go out there and lead these activities across the country with your fellow combat wounded, all under the WWIA umbrella. But you went to the safety symposium first. I met you at Camp Hackett last year. And then this year I'll see you at Camp Hackett in June for our guide school. So, but you've already been out there doing the work. You're going to get some holy water sprinkled on you after you get through guide school. But what I want to ask you, tell us if you don't mind, now that you're serving, you got all this outdoor experience, you love the outdoors, you got a family that's involved in all, outdoor sporting stuff. You're with the Department of Natural Resources now in Indiana because of your, skill set as a combat engineer and your love of the outdoors. That's phenomenal, man. But let me ask you this. What does it mean to you to be involved in the WWIA and go on these missions with your fellow combat wounded? What chords does that strike in you, and the meaning of that work for you personally? Tell us about that, Greg.
The meaning for me is being able to see the heroes, the other Purple Heart vets that, sometimes struggle and can't find ways to express themselves or, talk about it or have someone to talk about it with, is what strikes for me, because I was always one of those guys up until I joined Wounded Warriors in Action that just never wanted to talk about it, never wanted to, be reminded of any of the situations. And then going on the events and talking with even guys from Vietnam, it's just been eye openers. And hearing the stories from the Vietnam vets, other Iraqi and Afghan war vets, it's just been eye opening. I love hearing the stories and seeing them being able to express themselves. And you can almost see the relief in their eyes that they finally got someone to talk to. They're able to, get these things off their chest. And even I still get texts from warriors from an event that was over a year ago that I was on, asking me, hey, how can I do this? Or how can I do that? I got this, I got that, and just, they still talk and still text. And it's like, just like being in the service, you're making a friend for life. It's, right. You're always going to be there. I'll answer my text for these guys. I'll pick up the phone and call them if they want me to. And for each event, it's always, and all the guys are about the same. It's not about me. It's not about me when I go there. It's about them. How can I help them? What can I do for them? If I get to go out and enjoy and maybe pick up a gun or pick up a bow and being able to hunt or fish, that's awesome. But if not, it's helping the warrior get into his stand, get into a fishing boat, help them, assist them so that they can do what they want to do, what they love, that they haven't maybe been able to do in a while. It's just being able to help the other vets that aren't, say, as capable as what I am, to where I can get up and do this stuff mostly on my own, and being able to help them do it and hopefully get it to where they're on their own, or at least they more or less enjoy it because they are doing it on their own and they gain their confidence back. And that's what it is for me. I just like seeing the looks on their faces after they catch the fish, they shoot the deer or turkey. It's just the look and the relief in their eyes, and it's just awesome. I just love it.
Well, that's what put the hook in me a long time ago. When I started doing this, was that very same thing. The look in their eyes. Although I was never combat wounded, having been in combat, I fortunate enough not to get hurt, and just being able to provide a safe space for them, those that were wounded, and opportunities that they would otherwise never have, is something that still to this day it resonates with me. And to hear your story and what it means to you to be able to continue to serve, as somebody who's enabling these activities and there for them. We're not asking anything of you. If you want to talk about what happened to you, that's great. If you don't want to talk about it, that's great too. But this idea of the Vietnam veterans, who are older than both of us, mm-hmm. I just, yesterday was Sunday. On Saturday night, I went to I was asked to speak at at a dinner affair, about an hour and a half from my house, and I went. I brought my boys, and after I just got up and said a few words and this kind of thing, and then afterwards, usually after the dinner or whatever, I try to make myself, available, accessible to anybody who wants to come up and and take a whack at the piñata. And so this one of the guys that came up to me was actually introduced to me by another individual. He was a Vietnam veteran. His name was Percy, and very quiet, and you could just tell, that he had inside of him, he was at peace with all that went on. And I think there's a lot to be said. And as they say, I don't know that time heals all wounds, but time certainly does help. The further you get away from trauma, the better off you are. And over time, and work, it just doesn't happen, right?
Yep.
Everybody's got to find their own way to heal and get right with the world, so that you can be strong for your family, so that you can be strong for these heroes that you support. That's a process. There's a process involved there. And Percy, I could tell by how he carried himself, that one, he was the real deal, and two, that he had found peace. But that takes time sometimes. And there's no clock. We're not measuring this. It's not a competition. You find it in your own way. And I think the foundation helps people to find that. And sometimes the answer is to talk about it when you're ready to talk about it. Sometimes the answer is listening to others talk about it, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty powerful too, listening to people tell their story and how they tell it. And you can just kind of see, it's like the weight's lifting off of their shoulders.
Yeah.
They're just, they feel, it's kind of, I guess it's, it's healing, it's cathartic, it's whatever you want to say. It's the stuff that happens in the bunkhouse. It's the stuff that happens around the fire. It's the stuff that happens in the tree stand, et cetera, whatever. But you're in a safe environment, and you're surrounded by people who have similar challenges and similar interests, and it's just a safe place to do that. And so it warms my heart to hear you, in a position to be able to give back and to support those who are still, probably many of whom are still going through the process of healing, and doesn't just ever end, right? It's not just over. Hey, I'm 100% better. No, we have to work at this. It's like a relationship, right? You got to continue to work at this, because you've got to be strong, for your family. And when you're not strong, you have people around you who can help you. And the foundation, is a part of I think people's process, and is hopefully part of their lives now, even if it's a small part of their life. But it's a network. And so thank you for not only for what you did for our country as an Army soldier, as a combat engineer, but thank you very much for what you're doing now in support of the foundation and in support of those fellow brothers and sisters who were also wounded and received the Purple Heart. Genuinely thank you, Greg. I really appreciate it, and I know that those that we serve certainly do too. You've got the right attitude, you've got the right genetics, the right pedigree, all those things, and I just genuinely appreciate it.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it, and I want to say thank you for the opportunity to work with you guys. It's just been an experience, and I love it, and I just enjoy it so much. I don't think I would ever do anything else if I had to.
Well, we're really proud of you, buddy. I'm going to give you a chance, here to, it's kind of like open mic night. We've talked about a lot, but is there anything that you'd like to chat about that we haven't discussed?
Nothing that comes to mind.
All right. Well, listen, thanks again for all you've done, and I hope that you and your family continue to thrive, and that your work goes well. And I'm really looking forward to getting connected with you once again up at Camp Hackett during guide school, and seeing you through that course. And I hope this is just one of many experiences that we have together moving forward in the future. And again, just thanks for what you did, and we hope you continue to thrive and heal and lead, and that's that's what you're doing. You're a great leader, and we appreciate you.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it.
All right, buddy. You have a great day. Thanks for your time.
All right. You too.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
To learn more about the mission of the Wounded Warriors in Action Foundation and how you can get involved, please visit our website at WWIAF.org or follow our social media pages on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Thank you for listening to the WWIA Podcast and for helping us honor, connect, and heal our combat wounded Purple Heart heroes through the power of the great outdoors.
If you like what you're listening to here and would like to join our team in our mission to bring healing power and recovery to America's Purple Heart heroes, please become part of our Sponsor a Hero team by clicking on the link in the podcast notes or by going to WWIAF.org/sponsor. That's WWIAF.org/sponsor. Our heroes need you now more than ever. Thank you.